It's a Tuesday night. You've had a long day. You finally get into bed at 10:30, and you are genuinely exhausted. You close your eyes, you drift off, and then somewhere around 2 or 3 in the morning, you're wide awake. Not because of a noise, not because of a bad dream. Your body just woke you up. Again, and the frustrating part isn't just the trip itself. It's that you can't get back into that deep sleep afterward. You lie there staring at the ceiling, watching the minutes tick by, knowing your alarm is only a few hours away. You've probably already tried the obvious fixes. You cut back on water after dinner. Maybe you skipped your evening herbal tea. You even went to bed a little earlier, hoping it would help. And yet, nothing changed. Here's what nobody told you. Your bladder is not the villain in this story. It is just the messenger. The real drivers behind nighttime waking are a set of physiological chain reactions that your body triggers automatically, and most of them begin hours before you even get into bed. I'm a physician, and today I'm going to walk you through 5 specific, science-backed mistakes that are almost certainly sabotaging your sleep. We're counting down from 5 to 1. And I want to warn you right now, number 1 is going to completely change the way you think about this problem. It is the single most overlooked cause of nighttime urination I encounter in my practice. And the fix can begin tonight. If this kind of practical health content helps you, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this reach people who need it. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I read every single one. Let's get into it. Mistake number 5. The cutoff time you think is safe isn't. Most people know they shouldn't drink a large glass of water right before bed. That much has gotten around. So they set themselves what feels like a reasonable rule, nothing to drink after 9 o'clock, maybe even 8. And they feel good about it. Responsible, disciplined. But here's the gap in that logic. The timing isn't about when liquid enters your mouth. It's about when that liquid reaches your kidneys and gets turned into urine. And that journey takes a lot longer than most people realize. Here's what actually happens. When you drink something, it doesn't go straight to your bladder. It gets absorbed through your stomach lining and small intestine into your bloodstream. That absorption process takes time, typically 30 to 60 minutes on its own. Then your total blood volume increases slightly. Your kidneys detect that increase, and they begin filtering the excess fluid out. The whole cycle, from the moment you swallow to the moment your bladder starts filling, can take anywhere from 90 minutes to nearly 3 hours, depending on your metabolism, your hydration status, and what you ate. So that harmless glass of water at 9 p.m. when you go to bed at 10:30, your kidneys are hitting peak production right around midnight or 1 a.m. There's also a hormone involved here called ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Think of it as your body's nighttime brake pedal for the kidneys. ADH levels naturally rise after you fall asleep, signaling the kidneys to slow down urine production and let you rest. But when you drink fluids close to bed, that signal gets suppressed. Your kidneys stay in daytime gear even while the rest of your body is trying to wind down. The real cutoff, and this is evidence-based, is 3 hours before sleep. Not 1, not 2, 3. Front-load your water consumption. Drink most of your daily fluids before 5 or 6 p.m. Let your body coast into bedtime on an empty tank. What time do you usually stop drinking fluids? Be honest, put it in the comments. I'm curious how far off most people are. Mistake number 4. Your dinner plate is secretly producing urine while you sleep. This one surprises even people who consider themselves health conscious, because it doesn't involve drinking anything at all. When your body digests food, especially carbohydrates and fats, it produces water as a chemical byproduct. This is called metabolic water. It's real, It enters your bloodstream, and your kidneys have to process it. A large meal eaten late at night, say at 8 or 9 p.m., means your digestive system is still actively working while you're trying to sleep. That metabolic water is quietly raising your blood volume in the exact same way that drinking a glass of water would. Except you never saw it coming because you didn't drink anything. Now add the second layer to this: hidden dietary diuretics. A diuretic is anything that increases urine output. Caffeine and alcohol are the famous ones. They directly block ADH. But there's a whole list of completely healthy, doctor-approved foods that act as mild diuretics too. Cucumber, celery, asparagus, watermelon, citrus fruits, even tomatoes. For many people, spicy food is a bladder irritant that creates urgency even when the bladder isn't very full. Here's the real-world scenario. Someone eats a big clean dinner at 8:30 p.m., grilled salmon, a cucumber and tomato salad, and a squeeze of lemon. They're proud of themselves. Very healthy. But by midnight, their kidneys are processing both the metabolic water from digestion and the mild diuretic effects of the cucumber and tomatoes, while their bladder is slightly irritated from the lemon. And they wake up wondering what went wrong. The fix has two parts. 1. Finish your last substantial meal at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. 2. In the evening, favor foods that are bladder neutral, cooked vegetables like sweet potato, zucchini or green beans, rather than raw high water content produce. Mistake number 3. You're going to the bathroom wrong before bed. That sentence probably sounds strange. How do you go to the bathroom wrong? But bear with me. This is one of the most common and most correctable mistakes I see. Most people have some version of a bedtime routine. Brush teeth, wash face, use the bathroom, get into bed. The problem is that the bathroom step gets done on autopilot. You're half asleep, you're scrolling your phone, you're thinking about tomorrow's meeting. You go. You feel finished. You get up and leave. Here's what's actually happening in your bladder during that rushed trip. Your bladder is a flexible muscular sac. It sends urgency signals to your brain based on how stretched it is. When you're distracted or in a hurry, your pelvic floor muscles, the muscles that control urination, never fully relax. You end up emptying somewhere around 70 to 80% of what's there. The remaining 20 to 30% stays behind. Now that leftover fraction sounds small, but consider this. The average adult bladder holds roughly 400 to 500 milliliters. If you leave behind 80 to 100 milliliters, you've given your bladder a significant head start on refilling. It's going to hit its wake-you-up threshold much earlier in the night. The solution is a technique called double voiding, and it's recommended by urologists and pelvic floor specialists worldwide, including at institutions like the Cleveland Clinic for patients with bladder issues. It works like this. This becomes the very last thing you do before getting into bed. Not 10 minutes before, not after checking your phone one more time. Right before. Sit down, and yes, I mean sit down, even if you're a man. Sitting allows your pelvic floor to fully decompress in a way that standing simply doesn't. Urinate normally without straining. Then stay seated. Don't move. Take 3 or 4 slow, deep breaths. Wait about 45 to 60 seconds. Then lean forward slightly, elbows toward your knees, and try to urinate again. This postural shift physically repositions the bladder and allows that remaining fluid to drain. Most people are genuinely surprised by how much more comes out. 2 minutes. That's all this takes, and it can meaningfully delay when your bladder reaches its overnight threshold. Mistake number 2. Your bedroom temperature is working against your kidneys. Most people understand that temperature affects sleep quality in a general way. Fewer people know that the wrong bedroom temperature, in either direction, directly triggers more urine production. And it does this through two completely different mechanisms. Let's start with too warm. The ideal sleeping temperature for most adults is somewhere between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's roughly 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. When your bedroom is warmer than that, or when you're wearing non-breathable sleepwear like synthetic fabrics, your core body temperature stays elevated. Your body needs to drop its core temperature by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to fully descend into deep, slow-wave sleep. When that drop doesn't happen, you hover in lighter sleep stages. And in lighter sleep, every small physical sensation, including a bladder that's only 40% full, is enough to wake you up. The ADH surge that's supposed to protect your sleep also depends on you reaching those deeper stages. No deep sleep, no ADH surge, no protection. Now here's the one that most people have never heard of. Too cold triggers something called cold diuresis. When your body detects cold, especially in the extremities, it constricts the blood vessels in your arms, legs, hands, and feet. This is called peripheral vasoconstriction. It's a survival response designed to protect your vital organs by keeping warm blood concentrated near your core. The problem is that this process rapidly increases the blood pressure and blood volume in your central circulation. Your kidneys interpret that surge as a fluid overload signal. Their response is to start filtering out the excess and producing urine even though you haven't drunk a single extra drop of water. This is exactly why you almost always need to use the bathroom when you get into a cold swimming pool. It's not psychological, it's a real physiological chain reaction. The fix is precision. Keep your room in that 65 to 68 degree range. Choose natural breathable fabrics, cotton, bamboo, linen. If you tend to run cold at night, add a light breathable blanket rather than piling on heavy insulating layers that cause you to overheat by 2 a.m. What temperature do you actually sleep at? Most people don't know because they've never paid attention to it. Check tonight. And now, mistake number one, the one that tends to produce the most "I had no idea" reactions in my practice. The real reason you wake up at 3 a.m. has to do with physics, specifically with what gravity does to your body fluids over the course of a 16-hour day, and what happens the moment you lie down and take gravity out of the equation. Here's the scenario. You spend most of your waking hours upright, sitting, standing, walking. During all of that time, gravity is pulling fluid downward through your body. Some of that fluid leaks out of your capillaries and accumulates in the soft tissue of your lower legs, your ankles, even your feet. This is called dependent edema. It doesn't always cause visible swelling. For most people it's subtle, but it's happening. And it becomes more significant as we age, when we sit for long hours at a desk, or when circulation isn't as efficient as it once was. Now you go to bed. You lie flat. The gravitational gradient that was holding all that fluid in your legs gone. Over the next 2 to 3 hours, that accumulated fluid slowly re-enters your bloodstream. Your circulating blood volume quietly climbs. And your kidneys, doing exactly what they're designed to do, detect the increase and start filtering out the excess. Urine production increases. Your bladder fills. And right around 2 or 3 in the morning, you wake up. Notice the timing here. This is not happening because of something you did right before bed. It's happening because of fluid that built up in your legs over the entire preceding day. Your late-night bathroom trip is the end result of a 16-hour process. This is why changing your sleep setup can make such a dramatic difference. The strategy is to move the fluid shift to earlier in the evening, before you're in deep sleep. 1 to 2 hours before bed, while you're reading, watching television, or just relaxing, lie down and elevate your legs. You don't need any special equipment. Stack 2 or 3 pillows at the end of the couch, or prop your legs up against the wall. The goal is simple. Get your ankles above your heart. Gravity now works in your favor. pulling that pooled fluid back into circulation early. Your kidneys process it while you're still awake. You go to the bathroom using the double voiding technique from mistake 3, and you start the night with a dramatically lower fluid load in your system. Your sleeping position matters too. Sleeping flat on your back means gravity is still at work on a horizontal plane. Sleeping on your left side, with a pillow between your knees, reduces direct pressure on the bladder and improves circulatory return. Research consistently shows it supports better kidney filtration as well. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed elderly patients, the group most affected by this problem, and had them practice evening leg elevation as their only intervention. No medication, no fluid restriction beyond what they were already doing. Just legs elevated on a recliner or with pillows for a couple of hours before bed. The results were significant. Nocturia episodes dropped substantially, not because the kidneys changed, not because the bladder changed, simply because the fluid shift was redirected to happen at 8 p.m. instead of 2 a.m. So let's take stock of what we now know. Your kidneys are reacting to a fluid surge caused by your legs offloading hours of accumulated fluid the moment you lie down flat. Your bladder is being irritated by foods you'd never suspect. Your bedroom temperature is either keeping you in shallow sleep or actively triggering urine production. Your pre-bed bathroom routine is leaving a 20% head start in the tank every single night. And your fluid cutoff time is probably 2 hours too late. 5 real, fixable mistakes. But here is the most important thing I can tell you before you go. Do not try to fix all 5 tonight. That is the fastest way to feel overwhelmed. Make it 3 days and quit. Pick the one that made you stop and say, "Oh, that's me." Just one. Commit to it for the next 4 nights and pay attention. Small wins, done consistently, are what build real change. Which mistake hit closest to home for you? Tell me in the comments. I want to know which number landed hardest. And if you're walking away with an actual plan, type the word "tonight" below. That's your commitment. That's your starting line. Take care of yourself. Sleep deeply. I'll see you in the next one.